So it's interesting to note that oftentimes we lose track of priorities. So sometimes we focus so much on the leaf and we miss the forest, right? So for example, sometimes we will fight about little matters in fiqh, for example, how you make wudu, or where you hold your hands, or which kind of meat is allowed, which kind of dhabiha meat is allowed, or moon sighting. That we fight about these minor issues and issues where there's legitimate difference of opinion within Islam and within the scholarly opinions, but we fight about these things, and we sometimes miss the bigger picture. So for example, we might focus on the minor issues and then miss something as huge as khayrukum khayrukum li ahli. See, the Prophet ﷺ here, he's not saying that the best of you are the best at following this particular small fiqhi rule, or the best of you are the one who dresses a certain way, or the best of you are, he doesn't even say the best of you are the one who has the longest beard, right, or the shortest pants. Although these are things that, with the intention of following the sunnah, these are rewardable. But this is not what the Prophet ﷺ is focusing on in this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ is focusing on how we treat our families. And the sad irony is that sometimes when people start to, for example, become more religious, more practicing, so often we find that people who start to become more practicing believe that they also should become more harsh. And unfortunately, we sometimes see this trend where as a family member starts to become more religious, they also start to become maybe more harsh with their families, maybe more strict, maybe even more angry. And that's a sign that there's something going wrong, because the Prophet ﷺ has clarified the criteria for our character. He's saying that if you want to test character, if you want a litmus test of who is actually the best in our deen, he's saying look at how a person treats their family. He doesn't say look at how a person dresses. He doesn't say measure the length of a person's beard. He doesn't say check how short a person's pants are. But he says look at how they treat their family, that those who are the best to their families, those are the best. And then he continues and says وَأَنَا خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِ, and I am the best to my family or to my wife. It's important to understand that when the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enters a heart, that heart should become softer. That heart should not become harder. It should not become more tough. It should become softer. We're told in a hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gentle and He loves gentleness. We're also told that Allah rewards for gentleness what He does not reward for harshness or any other thing. So we are told that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves this quality of being gentle. And so as a person starts to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the heart should become softer, more compassionate, more forgiving,